Hi there! My name's Braden and welcome back to my channel, That Guy Animates, where today we're going to be talking about the stuff I've learned during the rough animation phase of this project, while you enjoy a nifty time lapse I've prepared for you. So without further ado, this is Animating Squirtle Part 2. So, come on, let's go check it out. So I started off my session drawing 3 different Squirtle sketches. I haven't drawn Squirtle since the last video, so I needed to practice. I decided to finish off one of the Squirtles to get a good idea of how I was going to color it in the final animation. I've never finished an animation in Clip Studio Paint yet, so what you're seeing is my first one. I needed to figure out how I was going to separate the layers and the colors in the final animation, and luckily, each cell in the animation, each cell in the timeline of Clip Studio Paint works as a layers folder in the layers tab. And what's neat is that once you have a setup done in your first frame, when you create a new frame, the same number of layers that you'd created in the previous folder will automatically be generated for the new frame. So once you color one frame, with your separate line art layers, with your separate color layers, it'll then create that for you automatically in the next keyframe. So that was just me figuring out how that was going to work, because I've never done it before. But now I feel pretty confident with it. I think it's a really cool process, and I really love working with Clip Studio Paint because of it. Pretty quickly in the rough animation process, I realized Squirtle didn't look very good facing us directly, so I decided to turn him 3/4, and I think that looks better considering Squirtle's character design. I really should have started with a 3/4, considering most acting and animation happens from the 3/4 pose. So I want to talk about some of the things you might be seeing on screen right now. The ghost blue drawing that you see in the background there is an effect of the onion skinning tool in Clip Studio Paint. And what it's showing me is what my previous drawing looks like. And whenever you see green, it's showing me what my next drawing looks like. And the drawing that I'm currently on and currently able to manipulate is the one that I've drawn in red. I also wanted to mention I'm using the straight ahead method of animation. Straight ahead means that I draw the first keyframe and then I draw the next frame immediately after that, and then so on and so forth to get the desired motion. I could have used the pose to pose method, but I wasn't thinking much about it at the beginning of the process. And so I just started animating and hoped for the best. Next time I think I'll plan out my animations a little bit better. However, the straight ahead method seemed to work really good for me in this situation. You could go about animating something simple like this either way. It's up to each animator to choose which method they'd rather animate with. I just happen to use straight ahead. You can use whichever one you'd like. If you're curious what pose to pose looks like in action, I'll very likely be using it in future animations. So stay tuned if you'd like to learn more. In this section of my process, I decided I wanted to add secondary motion to the hat and give it a delay as he's coming back down, and then it would settle onto his head right as he was jumping back up. I think that adds a little bit more visual appeal to the animation, and it just, I don't know, it just looks cute. Another area where I wanted to add secondary motion was to the tail. I wanted to give it a little bit of drag as he was jumping up, and then as he was coming back down, it would follow soon after. Now it's time to add some more details. In this case, we're adding the handles for the jump ropes. I like how I waited to add the jump rope handles and the jump rope till after I had the main body animation down. I know a lot of animators will animate on multiple layers, and so maybe the jump rope will be on a completely separate animation layer. But for this, I think keeping everything on one layer just helped me do it quickly. And now we're getting to a part where I think I had partly the most trouble, and that was with trying to keep the face consistent and deciding what I wanted to do with Squirtle's face in general. So I started off having to redraw the face a lot, and it just did not hold its consistency. And I did not like how it was kind of turning out. So I decided I needed to learn a new technique in order to get this down. I had heard of Clip Studio Paint's light table and how it can be very beneficial, but I didn't know how it worked, and I tried to figure out how it worked for a little bit, ended up needing to look it up on YouTube. This is my first experience with the light table, and I love it. What it does is it allows me to move a frame that I choose underneath my animation layer. So what I can do is I can modify and move around one frame, which is whatever frame I decided the face looked best on, and then I just drew over it, making all of my keyframes, or making all of my frames look the same. And I went ahead and used that feature to make sure the whole body and all the proportions were consistent throughout my whole animation. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you're having a great day. Check in next time for Animating Squirtle Part 3, where we finish out the line work and we do the coloring. I'm looking forward to it. Been working on this project for a little bit, and so I'm excited to wrap things up so we can move on to other really cool stuff. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future videos. I'll see you later.